Welcome to the pregame show brought to you by Recruitlings. I'm Kyle Smith, along with the head coach for Chicago House AC today, Shannon Seymour. A big matchup today for Chicago House. If they get 3 points, they would tie RWB Adria for first place in the Heartland Division, and they would have the tiebreaker for first overall in Division 1. You know what's on the line today. Draw doesn't help. You need the victory.
Yeah, again, been not trying to harp on it too much this week as we build up for a match like this, but again, the boys, we talked about it at the beginning of the week. We know what we need to do. Nothing more needs to be said. We just need to go, and at the end of the day, it's another game, and you know, to be able to play in what's essentially a championship game is always an honor. So boys are ready, and you know, we'll see where things happen.
Obviously, a lot easier said than done. You want to get ahead, stay ahead. What's it going to take for that to become realistic today?
Yeah, I think for starters, it's going to start in the back, right? Defensively, right? We have to do the work. We have to make sure that we're organized defensively and we make ourselves hard to break down, right? The last thing we can do is give up a goal today, especially early. So again, just keeping the boys focused on the defensive piece first, and then obviously letting the boys be free, right? These guys, they know how to score goals. We've seen it in games where we've had multiple goals, right? And even in different halves. So it's just about making sure things fall where they may. But again, putting the ball in the back of the net, keeping it out of our net.
Final thoughts about the game today. When will we see those forwards cheat up if it's tied or if you're down by a goal late in the match?
Yeah, I mean, again, it'll depend on what the game's giving us. If we're generating good opportunities, you know, and just don't need to switch much, then it's just about trying to get that whatever players in good spots to start finishing. Outside of that, probably maybe around the 70th or something, we'll see where we're standing. But again, it's a 90-minute game at the end of the day. The boys just need to remember that, and it doesn't have to happen in the first 5.
Right. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Exactly.
That's Shannon Seymour, and the play-by-play broadcast is coming up next.
Austin Salazar, number 0, goalkeeper, Gary, Indiana.
Jack Kramer, number 2, defender, Bradley Bourbonnais, Illinois.
Ryan Grady, number 3, goalkeeper, Deerfield, Illinois.
Cesar Murillo Jr., number 4, defender, El Paso, Texas.
Jasper Waddington, number 6, defender, Crete, Illinois.
Bukola Abdul-Wahab, number 7, forward, Kwara, Nigeria.
I'm Shannon Seymour, number 8, midfield, Bourbonnais, Illinois.
Nico Williams, number 9, striker, Chicago, Illinois.
Kikis Avalos, number 10, midfielder, Poland, Illinois.
Aryan Kamdar, number 12, forward, Bangalore, India.
A.R. Smith, number 14, midfielder, Chicago, Illinois.
My name is Paul Mateo, number 15, defender, Barcelona, Spain.
I'm Eduardo Aguilera, number 16. I'm a winger from Chicago, Illinois.
Jordan Friend, number 18, winger,
Bolingbrook, Illinois.
Isaac Carnaya, number 19, midfielder, Cicero, Illinois.
Dan Hayes, number 21, defender, Chicago, Illinois.
John Alzate, number 22, center midfielder, Medellin, Colombia.
Aaron Moreno, 23, midfielder, Chicago, Illinois.
Damian Moreno, number 27, defender, Daytona Beach, Florida.
Isaiah Gallegos Munoz, number 28, defender, midfielder, forward, Barbados.
Dan Lacoste, number 30, defender, Mount Prospect, Illinois.
Billy Castro, 33, goalkeeper, Cicero, Illinois.
Corey Miles, number 47, defender, Clarksburg, West Virginia.
Austin Montejano, defender, Zion, Illinois.
Zeddy Adlam, wingback, Orlando, Florida.
Joel Estrada, goalkeeper, Chicago, Illinois.
Hi, my name is Brian Koenig. I am the president of Soccer 2000. We are a soccer specialty store located in Downers Grove. We specialize in servicing club uniforms and a personalized retail experience. Soccer 2000 has an exclusive team center that includes a wide variety of uniform kits to help your club choose the next kits that will make you guys look great on the field. Contact us at 630-241-9500 or find us online at soccer2000.com.
Max Heads custom kick drum heads. Design online, upload, create, rock. If you're in a band, you need a Max Head. Did you know that you can advertise your business on our live streams? You sure can. Contact us about the numerous advertising opportunities we offer to local businesses during our sports live streams. Build brand awareness, engage customers, and support your local sports teams. Contact us for more information. Welcome to Midwest Premier League Soccer. Tonight, RWB Adria Chicago hosts Chicago House AC, live from the Fire Pitch in Chicago, Illinois. Livestream brought to you by Recruitlings. It's
game time.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another production of Recruitlings. I'm Kyle Smith alongside my great crew of Miles Whitworth and Eric Ratchey, giving you a production of Midwest Premier League Soccer. It's 5:32 p.m., which means it's about some time for some semi-pro soccer. The visiting Chicago House AC against the home team RWB Adria. If Chicago House wins, they would tie in terms of points with RWB Adria, and they would have the tiebreaker. A tie or win for Adria today, and they are the champions in the Midwest Premier League. Tie does no good for Chicago House. So if it's tied or they're losing late in the game, they will cheat up their defenders and midfielders. We'll give you more analysis coming up next. Meanwhile, National Anthem here on Recruitlings. RWB Adria against Chicago House. If you were tuning in a minute ago before National Anthem, just announcing that and reminding you that Chicago House needs a victory today. The draw does them no good. For Adria, all they need is a tie, and they are the champions of the Heartland Division 1. So keep that in mind. Adria, they'll play to win, not to lose, but if it's tied late in the match, they will be very conservative to make sure that they get first place in the Heartland Division. Here are the goalkeepers. Those are brought to you by Recruitlings. Between the pipes for RWB Adria is going to be Alejandro Barajas, and the starting goalkeeper tonight for Chicago House will be Tony Halterman. 0-0 does no good for House today. You got to score at least one goal, and arguably speaking, you'd like to score at least two to have a good shot of being the champions of the Midwest Premier League Division 1 Heartland Conference. More starting lineups coming up briefly. Meanwhile, it's going to be House to take at the visiting team as it's in the center circle by A.R. Smith. And then kicked out near the box. Adria trying to steal near the center line as House maintains possession. Left-footed boot near the center line and stolen away by Adria, as on the steal that time was number 15, Heriberto Munoz. Actually, it's a late substitution. They were going to put Jasko Dizdarevich off the bench, but a late sub, and he'll start today. If you've seen a lot of Sports Broadcast Solutions broadcasts, Jasko Dizdarevich used to play for Chicago Nation FC in the United Premier Soccer League, one of their best goal scorers, along with Zach Hahar Shikichenko. He also played for Chicago Nation, so watch out for that Shikichenko-Dizdarevich pairing, as they both have a lot of experience playing with each other. Trying to steal it is Chicago House, and then back over to House in their own territory. Stolen away. Here comes Adria. Leading the attack is Caleros. Stolen away by House briefly off the body, as House will get it back. Chicago House AC in the green, black, and white. Then back over to Adria, this time in their own territory. Played right now by Razzo. Near the touchline on his left foot. Sends it forward. Give and go play, and now at midfield, played by Acosta. Back over to the touchline, as with it right now is Dizdarevich. Back over near the center line as Adria maintains possession. And for the final time, just another reminder, this game is for the championship of the Heartland Conference. A win helps out Chicago House to win it all. A draw or win by Adria, and they're the champions. Sent forward by Adria. This is an Adria team. They're very good at outshooting opponents as they outshot Steel City 16-3 earlier in the season. They were on the road in that match at Providence Catholic High School, but they only won the match 2-1. So this is a team in Adria. They know how to outshoot opponents, but they do struggle with their accuracy and taking advantage of scoring opportunities. Keep that in mind as this match continues here at beautiful Chicago Fire pitch. Near the center circle, played right now by House, off the right foot, and then sent back out to the midfielders. Near the center circle. Is trying to find a teammate. Here's a chance for House. That shot. Good defense by Adria. Shot over the net, and the first scoring opportunity for either team goes the way of House. And at the 20th minute, we will welcome Sean Carroll. He's the Midwest Premier League Heartland Conference Commissioner. Meanwhile, still a 0-0 score as Adria trying to steal. A.R. Smith was after it. Just a beautiful day in Chicago. A lot of sunshine. So hard to see the numbers. There's so much sunshine today. As a foul called, it's going to be against House. As quickly playing it is Adria. Setting it up was 15 and Heriberto Munoz. He is a food server and busboy at Gibson Steakhouse. So far, Adria has dominated in ball possession early on at Fire Pitch. First shot of the match, that went the way of House, but it went over the top of the net. In the box, off the left foot, setting up a play from defense to the midfield at the center line, as after it briefly was House out of bounds, and last one to touch it was Razzo. In that big win over Steel City. That was a huge win, by the way. Difference between 3 points and 1 point, as Adria with 22 points coming into today. They outshot Steel City 16-3, but they only won 2-1. They won that match 2-1 in a game where it rained and there was 2 lightning delays. It wasn't the best game weather-wise, but they had to finish it because it meant that Adria would still be alive for the Heartland Division I championship. And if they had drawn that one and not finished the match, look where they'd be today. They'd only have 20 points instead of the 22. In a short season in the Midwest Premier League summer, every match matters. Meanwhile, on the touchline, it's a little tap pass now near the center. And trying to clear his House, and does. Couple of guys that touched the ball in that possession, notably, was Zakhar Shekichenko. He had a lot of goals. He was the leading goal scorer for Nation, as that's a Nation team in the UPSL that's gone all the way to the national championship, and they fell just short. Shekichenko played for Nation, as did Dizdarevich, and now they're playing for Adria for the championship. And it's a little slide action, and now they slide the ball near the center circle, and now inside it. Over to Dizdarevich. Slow-moving ball. Off the foot of Sains. Back over to Razzo, and then back over to the goalkeeper. Some good defense by House. Left-footed boot. High arching kick. Here the center circle adjacent to it as House steals. Trying to send it forward. Adria will still. And off the right foot right now is Shekichenko. As Barajas has been tested early. House has had limited possessions. Here comes House. It was last touched by Murillo. Now on the touchline, trying to keep it in. Beautiful job doing so, but unfortunately it was stolen by RWB Adria. House after it now, and then tap kick over to the keeper in Halterman, and back over to his defense. Left-footed boot on the touchline. Sending it forward to Murillo. Thought about sending it forward, then decides to give it back to his back. Out to the center back now. On the far touchline, House trying to set something up here. They keep possession, but they lose meters. This is a House team. They need the win. I mean, obviously, you'd love to score 2 or 3 goals, but however you need to do it, you win 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, however you need to do it. That's how House will have to do it today to be champions. Left-footed kick, right on target. Here's a chance for House, but good defense by Adria. They had a late guy coming into the play, so the one-on-one became a one-on-two. Adjacent to the center circle, now on the far touchline. Off the left foot, Adria with possession. Adria in the white and blue, falling to the pitch. No advantage given, and it's going to be a free kick coming up for Adria. If you're wondering, the second half was huge for Adria in that win over Steel City. They outshot Steel City 6-1. And I bring up that match because Steel City has been relegated to Division II of the Heartland Conference. They were outshot 6-1, but Adria was lucky to get the win in that one. They had 4 shots on goal, 6 shots, 2 from Alejandro Espinoza, who was not playing today. Antonio Razzo led the way in the second half with 3 shots, 2 on goal, and he had the assist. The game-winning goal went the way of Espinoza. Now past the center circle near the touchline. House trying to get it, but it's stolen away by Adria as they'll play it past the midway point. Kicked away by House. It goes out of bounds. Throw-in coming up for Adria. Just a beautiful day in Chicago as the shadows appear. One of those interesting games where the shadows are not as prevalent. If it was a 3 o'clock start, they'd be a lot more prevalent. 5:30, you get a little shadows. Mostly sunshine. As we approach 7 o'clock, we get closer to darkness. Throw in coming up, and that's going to be Omar Gill. Barajas wearing number 1, Halterman, the very unusual number 17. As that shot, easy save for Halterman, right in the breadbasket. Usually a goalkeeper wears 1, 99, or 0. You occasionally see a number 2, but that's a rare number for a keeper. So Halterman with the very unusual 17. Thought about sending it forward to Kramer. Instead he gives it back to his defense. From Murillo's foot to a teammate. At the 9:34 mark. In the center circle, now out of it. Couple of early chances for House. No shots on goal yet. A.R. Smith with it. Led by Shannon Seymour, the head coach today. House needs a victory. We'll give you the stats in a second. As well as the first half stats for that big win for Adria over Steel City. They had 6 shots in that first half, did RWB Adria. Trying to kick it forward as the intended target was Isaac Carnala. And back over to midfield. Over near the center line, left-footed boot, past the midway line. Foul committed by Adria. As we have an injury timeout. But we'll stick with the action here. Jesus Mendoza led the way in that first half for Adria. He had 6 shots, 3 of them on goal. No Jesus Mendoza in this one. A.R. Smith with it. A slew of defenders around him. As a give-and-go play, back to Smith. He was trying to feed it that time to Montejano. And now back over to House. Right-footed boot at the midway line. Feeding it to a teammate as they get past center field, midfield, and back over to the keeper in Barajas. Alejandro Barajas will give you a little bit more information in a second, as shortly to join our booth at the 20th minute mark. will be the Midwest Premier League Heartland Conference Commissioner in Sean Carroll. Throw in that time by Adria's Omar Gill. As stealing it is House. They've had the ball the majority of this first half. Alejandro Barajas played his college soccer at Kishwaukee College, also with the Santa Clara Broncos. Grew up in DeKalb, Illinois, attended DeKalb High School. And he also scored a couple of goals with Kishwaukee College. 2 goals, 3 assists. Alejandro Alex Barajas. As it was off the foot that time of Mentasti, he's had a quiet first half. Crosser, read well by Adria, and able to kick it out by Razzo, but another try for House, and then kicked past the end line. It'll be a goal kick awarded for Barajas here in the 14th minute. Barajas scanning the field, looking to see who's open. A.R. Smith talking to the referee, wondering what he's asking. It seems to be pretty clean. All the free kicks have gone the way of Adria, so perhaps he's asking about that. As we've seen very few fouls called on Adria. Most of the fouls have been called on House. Meanwhile, it was a short kick, and then he passed it over to Ulibarri, who kicked it forward. Meanwhile, on the sideline, stealing it away, but fouling the player in Kramer, as the foul was committed by Aaron Olabari. Left-footed boot, right on target. Handling the pass well was Cesar Murillo. Now past midfield. Tap pass from Kramer, Murillo, back to Murillo. Kramer with it on the touchline. As Kramer taking his time, scanning the field, and decides to retreat back to the D-line. Now gaining meters is Chicago. They've had limited opportunities, no opportunities thus far for Adria. Header and just right into the breadbasket of Barajas. Easy to read. They tried to redirect it in, but it went right to the hands of Barajas. And back over to the sideline. Here comes Adria, the men in white and blue. What can they do here? Tap pass. Thought about the shot on net, still in the box, and maybe overthought it. He wanted to get to that 90-degree angle right in front of the net, perpendicular to the net. As here to join our booth is the commissioner, Sean Carroll. He's the Midwest Premier League Heartland Conference Commissioner. And Sean, thanks so much for joining us. 0-0 draw thus far, but Chicago House, they know they have to win. The draw does them no good, and they've been keeping that pressure on early on in the match.
Yeah, the amount of pressure they've been putting on has just been spectacular. It's been a fun game to watch so far.
Tell us about your role as commissioner as we enter this championship match of Division I.
Well, commissioner, mostly what I do, I'm like the referee for the league. I make sure all the clubs follow the rules, make sure keep track of who scores what goals, what discipline is handed out, that sort of stuff. It's very administrative.
How has this season been different than the years past for the Midwest Premier League, and what has surprised you?
Well, the biggest change for this year is the splitting up of the Heartland Conference into 2 divisions, first and second, and implementing promotion relegation. We set it up, we looked at all the clubs over the last few years, and we put them into 2 different divisions. And we found that these games everyone is fighting for every game because they know that you can either go down or you can get promoted if you do well from the second division.
You've talked about it earlier, but how has promotion and relegation worked out in practice for the league?
It's really, like I said, it's turned every game up because you know what you have to do to keep yourself up in the first division and keep that prestige. Also, you know what you have to do to get promoted from the second division to the first. And we've had the second division, the competition in second division was really fierce. Green Bay really coming out, and AFC Roscoe doing a wonderful job as well to top that conference.
There's not much of a difference between the top of Division I versus the bottom, Steel City being relegated to Division II, but they almost beat RWB Adria, even though they were outshot 16-3 at home at Providence Catholic High School. So just because you're at the bottom of the standings for Division I, you can still beat the best of Division I.
Yes, that's exactly true. There's some parity in the league. You do see that there are some people who do better than others, because that's the nature of sports. But any given day, either of these teams can win.
Why is Chicago House in this spot? It's obviously not very easy in the last match of the season. You have to win it all. The draw does you no good.
Yes, not only does a draw do them no good, they have to win by 2 goals.
Okay.
2 goals, and that's when we get into 3 deep on the tiebreaker scale.
Okay.
But they have fought hard all season, and them and Adria have just fought all season to try and keep on top. Along with Milwaukee Bavarians.
You look at the standings, the big things for Adria, only 1 draw, 7 wins, and that's what makes soccer so great. The win, you get 3 points. The draw only gives you 1. Exactly. It's different than hockey. You get 2 points for a win, but in soccer you get 3.
Exactly. It gives more incentive to win. Used to be years and years ago, it used to be 2 points just like in hockey for a win, but they made it 3. And hold on, I'm going to shut up for a second.
Yeah, free kick coming up as it's going to be Pau Mateo Chacon to take it. One would think he's closest to it, but it might be a fake. Mateo Chacon was born in Barcelona. Let's see if he can bend it into the back of the net like his fellow Spaniards. Remember, Chicago not only has to win today, but they got to win by 2 goals. So they got to score early and often. Here we go. Pretty good idea, partner, but he just couldn't get enough topspin on it, and Barajas read it all the way.
Exactly. Keeper had that read all the way through.
But we talked about the standings. Bavarian had a nice season, but too many draws. 2 draws, 2 losses. That's why they're not competing for the championship today.
Exactly. The game that was last 2 weeks ago between them and Adria was really changed what the last few weeks were going to look like.
What are you looking forward to in the future of the conference?
I'm looking forward to having more clubs join Midwest Premier League. I think that we are an awesome league for clubs. We are run by the clubs. They all decide what our rules are, what our requirements, what our minimums are. And we offer a great alternative to some of the other leagues in the area.
So how does it work? For people that aren't familiar with relegation and promotion, Steel City get relegated. Will AFC Roscoe be promoted because they have the most points of Division II?
Not only AFC Roscoe, but also Green Bay Glory.
Okay.
This first year we set it up so that the 1 team will go down and 2 will come up.
Okay.
We wanted to give incentive. With this first year, we wanted to give incentive to the lower division, the second division, to fight. So we gave 2 promotion slots. Next year's setup is still up for discussion, and we'll decide that once we understand how many clubs we have going into 2025.
You look at the goal differential coming into this match, plus 13 for RWB Adria, plus 10 for Chicago House. Did that factor into at all why Adria's in the spot they're in today and where Chicago House is entering today?
Yes. Adria has had just a very aggressive attack all season and just being able to put goals in the back of the net against every club. The 1 loss is just a testament to how well they've done.
Final thoughts about the match today. I always think, my dad told me a story. So he was at Soldier Field when the Bears had to win and they had to win by a certain amount of points to get the last wild card spot, and they beat the old St. Louis Cardinals by 28 points. So they did what they had to do, and they beat the St. Louis Cardinals on the last day as there's a foul on the pitch. It's going to be near the touchline. RWB Adria will have the kick. So it is possible, those strange scenarios where you win and you have to win by a certain amount of goals or points to do so.
Exactly. There was a few of us sat down. We looked at our operations manual. We looked at all the tiebreakers. We said, okay, this one is hit. Then we have to look at this one.
Right.
Can't go down to this one for this reason. And so, yeah, it was one of those soccer maths that you have to do at the end of each season.
Well, the pressure is on House. They got to win, and they got to win 2-0, 3-1, 4-2, etc.
Exactly.
All right, thank you so much. That's the commissioner of the league, Sean Carroll, as he'll go back to his duties for the rest of the day. He does a very nice job running the Midwest Premier League Heartland Conference. We'll have a couple of other guests, one at the 50th minute and one at the 70th, and we do have a little scrappy right now between Adria and House. I'm going to take a replay at it in a second. I mean, I turned my back for a second as Sean left the booth, and then we got some pushing and shoving. Let's see what happens. So there was a pass on the touchline. Not much happening there. It's got to be something that was said, because I'm not seeing. There's a kick to the touchline, and then A.R. Smith, he was talking a little bit to Mario Caleros, and you know, guys, I know that the blood's boiling. It's a hot day. House is in a tough spot. You got to win. You got to win by 2 goals. You look at it one more time. The ball's in the box and then kicked away by House, and then all of a sudden some words being spoken to Caleros, and that was it. Caleros, and then trying to get in the way of it was Luis Oropeza. And it'll be interesting what the nearest ref decides, because it's being instigated by House. And for RWB Adria, they want time to be wasted. They don't want extra time. It's initiated by House. It looks like it anyways. You look at it one more time. Kick back to Smith, and then something's being said. Who initiated, we'll never know. Only 2 people know what happened. It was Smith and Caleros. One person will have one story. The other guy will have another story. 2 sides to every story, obviously. So we don't know what's going to happen exactly in terms of the additional time. But one would think, because it looks like A.R. Smith, they never catch the first guy. It's always the second guy. They're not going to allow a lot of extra time, and that hurts House as they have to win by 2 goals. Wouldn't that be something if they win by 1 goal today? And that's something to think about, because for Adria, just because they're down a goal, they can also be conservative. So Chicago, they have to deal with scoring twice and Adria being conservative most of the match. It's tough for House to do, and that's why we saw a very aggressive attack from House to start the match, trying to get that early goal. It's a lot easier to get that last goal at the end versus trying to press for 2 goals late. Nothing draw. As both teams go back to their respective benches. It's a hot day, so they have water breaks today. A.R. Smith, the captain for Chicago House. And you wonder what the head coach for RWB Adria and Herbert Alvarez is telling his players. For Chicago House to win, one would think they have to win probably 2-0 or 3-1. And to do that, Tony Halterman is the name of the game. He works for Worldwide Career Management, and according to the U.S. Soccer Federation, he's the keeper and the leader. He's been the steady old head at the heart of Chicago House. Just a wonderful article. If you have time, read it. It's on USsoccer.com, and it's written by Jonah Fontella. He's not a young kid. When the article was written, he was 32 at the time, so he's my age. He's 33 years old. He does not live in Chicago. He lives in Dyer, Indiana, works for Worldwide Career Management. As he's working with Worldwide Career Management to manage his professional soccer career and endorsement opportunities. He played his college soccer at DePaul University, and he played with them from 2009 to 2012. He was also a goalkeeper with the Evergreen Diplomats. Refs talking about it. I don't think they're going to issue red cards because all it was words being said. Would they issue a yellow for each player? I doubt it because they're both just saying words. You know, like I talked about before, blood boiling. It's a hot day. It's a big day for Chicago House. They can win the championship with a win and winning by 2 goals. Chicago House AC, though, they put themselves in this position, those 2 draws. Soccer, one of those sports, the win helps a lot. The draw, not so much, because for Bavarian United, 2 draws, but only 6 victories. For RWB Adria, those 7 victories, so huge. You get 2 points for a win in hockey, but in soccer you get 3. And that's really the difference maker thus far today. Chicago House, those 2 losses. You look at the schedule, brought to you by MidwestPL.com. As they lost 1-0 to RWB Adria and a tough 2-1 defeat to DeKalb County United, who's towards the bottom of the standings. That big draw to Bavarian United, that was a 2-point swing. If they had gotten the win, they would have had 3 points. Instead, they get the draw, so it goes 18-19 instead of 18-21. Every game matters in terms of wins and draws. And that's where Chicago House stands right now. At the same time, Sports Broadcast Solutions was at the match, the first match of the season, where they won 3-2. It could have been a 3-3 draw, but Steel City was offsides in one of the crazier plays you'll ever see. Steel City had a 2-on-1, and because the pass went forward, it became, as that crosser and read well by Halterman, but the pass on the 2-on-1 that Steel City was playing in, it was a lead pass, a through ball, that forced the forward to go offside, but that was not the intention of it. In fact, it was a tap kick. It looked more like a shot than a pass. Steel City was called for offside, and they lost by 1 goal. So, you know, soccer is one of those interesting sports where every little play can matter. You know, baseball's called a game of inches, but football kind of is as well. And that was the case early on in the match. And the case in that one late, where Steel City could have had a 3-3 draw. Instead, they lost 3-2. Little kick back to the sideline, Kramer with it. As the refs were talking it over, one would think that it's going to be 7 additional minutes beyond the 45. By the way, the text line's open. Your favorite high school, college, professional, World Cup member, you can text it to 330-957-7653. All FCC regulations do apply. Past the midway line. And now in the offensive third for Chicago. Ball went out of bounds, but I believe they called a foul on Adria. And this is close to where Pau Mateo Chacon, his kick went right into the arms of Barajas. As Pau Mateo Chacon will kick again. For Adria to score today, watch out for the two guys, and Shikichenko and Dizdarevich. Antonio Razzo scored against Steel City. It's those two guys that we saw on the first free kick. It's Alzate 22 and 15 Mateo Chacon. Got to score by 2 goals. Every set piece crucial for Chicago, and the refs know that. You can't take too much time, though, because you got to win by 2 goals. Here we go. Left-footed boot, up in the air, read well by Barajas. Did what they could on the set piece, but the only man that can use his hands able to get in the way of the passing lane and get the catch. Over to the touchline as after it was Shikichenko. Last touched by House. Throw-in awarded for Adria. It will not be Shikichenko as he offloads it over to Gill. 2 hands on the ball. Throw-in successful on the near touchline. Thought about the crosser. Read well by House. They intercept. A lot of bodies around the far boundary. Kicked forward. As Adria will have to play it. And that was a smart play by House. Mentasti decided to get in the way of the passing lane instead of going after the defender. Intended pass for Oropeza. Alzate steals. Smith with it. Alzate was after it. Smith fell to the pitch, and it's going to be a foul called on Adria. Let's see who wants to do this free kick. Alzate after it. And Smith's slow to get up. He's had a long day in terms of talking back to players. He was upset with the refs earlier. A lot of talking from Smith. Understandable. The frustration is there. Nobody from House wants to be in this spot, but that's where they are. Down by 2 goals. They got to win by 2 to be the champions. Left-footed boot. Loose ball in the box. Shot by Smith. Loose ball. He scores! Goal! A.R. Smith with a beautiful goal. Watch that right now. So here's the free kick. It's straight up in the air. Adria has trouble clearing. Smith takes his time. Beautiful boot to the right side of the post and a beautiful goal. I was not expecting that to happen because Adria has been so great today in terms of clearing the ball. And now the pressure is on Adria. Can they get the equalizer? Or can House score again? Not give up any goals. If they win 2-0, they're the champions. Adria can still win the championship if they lose 1-0. Get your popcorn ready because we're going to have quite a finish. And that was as early as possible as House wanted. They score before the first half ends. Remember, we will have some extra time because of the chippiness that happened in the 20th, 25th minute. Meanwhile, header pass. It's a beauty. Over to Shikichenko, the former grad student from Lewis University, as he offloads it over to 5 and Dizdarevich. Meanwhile, House gets it back. Trying to avenge that loss earlier to Adria. That was a 1-0 win for Adria, the draw. And it'd be a much different situation for Chicago House. That was an interesting goal. If you have a chance, go on the Recruitlings YouTube channel and watch that broadcast. The way that RWB Adria scored, it was kind of a hockey-esque goal. I'm not going to say a garbage goal, but it was a crosser that didn't go the way that Adria planned, but they scored nonetheless. Big-time goal, and it's a 1-0 win for them in that one. Now they trail 1-0, but they're still the champions if they don't give up any more goals. Meanwhile, free kick at a somewhat dangerous area of the pitch. It's going to be a tough aid. I'll get it straight into the net, so it's going to have to be a crosser. Up in the air and headed away. Who touched it last? It looked like it went off the head of Alejandro Leyva Espinoza. And if so, it's a goal kick. If it's off House, it's a corner. Retreating is Adria, so it looks like it will be a goal kick. Meanwhile, some substitutions coming in for House.
Looks like Mentasti's day might be done. He subs out. And also subbing out is Isaac Carnala. Let you know who's coming into the pitch in a second. It is indeed a goal kick. It was a nice pass. Meanwhile, chance for Adria. Espinoza's pass read well by House. And the safe signal by the nearest ref says clean contact, no penalty kick. PK would have been just absolutely dreadful for the Chicago House faithful. Look at it one more time. Pass in the box. Another pass by Espinoza. It was closer than I thought it would be, but it did look like he got ball first. And even if he didn't get ball first, it looked like the nearest Adria player just fell to the pitch on his own accord. Here comes Smith again, talking back to the ref. If he's not careful, and it's going to be a yellow card on Smith. So Smith had it. He was trying to get it back. And they actually are going to call it on, not Alzate, but they're going to call it on 23 on Aaron Moreno. Just a lot of fouls being called these last couple of minutes. A.R. Smith straight up in the air. Goes out of bounds. The pressure's still on House a little bit. They got to score once more to be the champions. Never an easy position in soccer when you have to score goals. It's a game not of the scoring variety. 0-0, especially at the Premier League level. Champions League level, very rare to score 3+ in a match, although in the Olympics we saw Morocco win 3-0 over the United States national team. On the touchline, beautiful move, pass it to himself to Smith. Sends it forward, right on target. Here comes House. Can they keep it in? And they can't. It's one of those pitches where there's not a lot of space from the end line to the net. And so if you're wondering why it didn't seem like the nearest forward made an attempt to keep that ball in, if you go too hard in terms of your sprint at the ball, you could lose your footing and fall and run into the net. Meanwhile, Adria looking to clear. It's near midfield, and they do. Right on the foot of Leva Espinoza, who was huge in that win over Steel City. A win that they barely got, even though they outshot them by 13 goals. As according to Zach, re-entry is possible in the second half. We could see Mentasti, as well as Isaac Carnala. Meanwhile, the man who got the yellow card will take a seat on the bench in Aaron Moreno. Got to be careful. Can't afford a red card today. Especially for House, since they have to score once more. The other problem is you score once more, and if you score too early, then you decide how conservative do we be. It's so hard to not give up a goal. Meanwhile, throw in for Chicago. We're at 40-10. I think we'll play 50-55. Usually in the Midwest Premier League, they play 50s in the first and second halves, respectively. With all the stoppages we've gotten, people arguing with the refs, we had a lot of chippiness. That throw-in off the head. And good job reading it by Leandro Acosta, making sure that it did not go past the end line. Meanwhile, throw-in. And the turf does not reach the entirety of the pitch as that throw into the end line. And I bring that up because sometimes a play like that, you'll see the athletic flip, where they'll do a flip and then do the throw in. But because there's no turf that expands all the way to the net, he didn't have enough time and enough space to do it. And so it was a regular throw in. If you're just joining us, the goal scored. It was unassisted by A.R. Smith. That's where we stand right now. It was off a free kick. Adria couldn't clear it. And A.R. Smith, the constant professional, did the rest. 41-28. It was in the hands briefly of Kiki Avalos. Meanwhile, to the far touchline. Sent forward to Smith. Slide tackle action. Adria steals. And then getting it back was Avalos. Near the center circle. Smith with it. Back to the D-line. Left-footed boot. Over to the sideline. Off the body of Smith. Left-footed boot. Shot. Barajas. And a beautiful save. You think from that far away they can't score, as it was off the foot coming off the bench in Makala Maglor. Foul committed by House. Gotta be careful. Remember, Adria are the champions with a win, draw, or if they lose by 1 goal. Pressure is on House. Put themselves in this position. Lost to Adria at home at DePaul College Prep earlier in the season. And a big loss, that defeat to DeKalb County United. In the center circle, on the right foot. Sends it forward off the body of the nearest forward. Passed back to Smith. Trying to find a teammate, does. Kramer over to Elzate. Elzate trying to send it forward, getting in the way of the passing lane. Tapped over to the touchline. As Acosta had it. Off the body. As with it now is Sains. Straight up in the air. Calling for it was Smith. Maglor to Smith. Maglor trying to keep it in. I think he did, and we play on. Great job by Maglor. Meanwhile, Adria deep in their own territory. Trying to get it out of their own zip code. Fouled by House. Text line still open, 330-957-7653. Favorite Midwest Premier League, Champions League, or any other soccer memory. FCC regulations do apply. Off the body. We are at 44-32. Things going well for House, but they got to score at least once more. Crosser, Redwell, chance in the box, cleared by House. Was there any body action, any slide tackled before the ball got there? Meanwhile, really quick corner kick. Surprised they went that quick. Pass, Redwell by House, trying to clear and does. I don't really know why that Adria went that quickly. Up in the air. And answering his House. That's a foul, might be a yellow card. Yellow card comes out of the pocket. And I'm surprised that Adria is arguing. I mean, that was a pretty clear yellow card. Kind of close to a red, honestly. Just an unnecessary play. And remember, Adria doesn't have to score. They just can't give up another goal. So it's also an unnecessary play where why would you need to be that aggressive in the first place when all you need to do is make sure House doesn't score again? The refs might not know that like the players do. Here comes Hartman to talk to the referee, and you hate to see it. A player down for House. We hope he's okay, but he is not moving yet. We'll get you an update. We're going to take a break. It is Chicago House 1, RWB Adria nothing here on Recruitlings. Well, you love to see it. He's finally back up, but you can see how much in pain he's in as McLaury, he put his jersey over his mouth to try to keep people from hearing how much in pain he is. Meanwhile, good sportsmanship that time by Acosta. At least, you know, the players for RWB Adria, look, nobody wants to get hurt. This is semi-pro. This is pre-professional soccer. You want to win, but this is not the World Cup. Nobody's trying to injure anybody. It's over-aggressive in terms of the play from RWB Adria, especially in the position they're in. They don't need to win today. They need to draw, a win, or make sure to lose by a goal. So it's an overly aggressive play. Was it red card-esque? No, it wasn't. Was it close to it? Kind of. It was a very unnecessary play. I mean, we talked to our technical director. She agreed with me. It was not necessary at all. Way too aggressive. And we're going to get 7 minutes of additional time from the 45-minute spot. So at 52 is when they'll call it, or 52 plus an advantage for either team if they get past the midway line. We wish the best for Mikala Magloire and for his family that's watching. He has given them efficient minutes off the bench today. House has to maintain their aggressiveness. They got to score again. Tough spot for House today, but they knew it coming into the match. The good news for them is it's a team that their home pitch is in Chicago. DePaul College Prep is very close to Chicago Fire pitch. So even though it's a quote-unquote away game, it kind of feels like a home game for Chicago House today. Meanwhile, foul committed by Adria. They're not making it easy for themselves. Committing fouls. This is a fairly easy free kick, but he still has to do the crosser. But it's about halfway between the center line and where the 16-meter box starts. Going to be a right-footed boot free kick. Instead, little tap pass action, loose ball. House trying to get it back, they do. Up in the air on the crosser. And what do you know about that? McLaury gets back up, he doesn't need a sub, and he almost got that crosser pass. And the other thing is, too, like in a championship match, even when you're at 50%, you're still at 100, right? You do whatever you can to stay in the match to try to get that championship. Up in the air. Appreciate everybody watching today. If you're not aware, this is a championship match. But House needs to win by 2 goals or more to claim the championship. Every other result will be a championship for Adria. In the box. That shot, Halterman got a piece. Loose ball in the box. That might have been a handball. And the hand does go up. Let's see if I was right on what I initially saw. Sure looked like it was a handball on Luis Oropeza. But if you're going to commit a handball, not that it's ever a good time to do it, but if you're going to commit it, better to be on offense in the 18-yard box. As that shot in the goal! Oh my goodness. How did that happen? It sure looked like House was going to maintain possession for the rest of the half, but Adria somehow scores. So Halterman with a terrible pass, stolen by Adria, left-footed boot. Halterman wasn't ready for it, and a goal scored for Adria. Just an absolute two-swing nonsense for Chicago House, just when it looked like they were going to have a 1-goal lead into halftime. Now all the pressure is back on House as they have to score twice, both in the second half, to get the championship. Man, did that happen quickly. It was passed back to Halterman. That's why in soccer you just can't turn your back. Anything can happen even when you think they're going to maintain possession. And a couple of easy passes. Boy, oh boy. Shikichenko finishing the job off the awful pass from Halterman. We talked about the constant professional he is. Not that time. That decision by Halterman, very bad. And meanwhile, free kick for House. You got to wonder how they can try to erase what just happened. Things were going well for them most of the day, and then that happened. But that's the kind of pressure that winning by 2 goals or more is. You make one mistake, and then it's back to pretty much a 0-0 game. It's 1-1 now. You got to start over again. That crosser had it away. Just flat out missed. A lot easier said than done when it comes to a header, but not even close. And what stinks for Chicago House, if you're a House fan, if you're Adria, you could just play conservative the entire second half. That kick by Barajas, pretty good topspin on it. It does go way past the midway line. That's a good boot by the keeper. House running out of time in this first half. If you're just joining the broadcast, these are the goals that were scored. Off a free kick, Adria couldn't clear it. A.R. Smith booted it into the back of the net. And then a horrible decision by Halterman. Read well by Shikichenko. He scored. That's where we stand right now. Trying to get it past midfield and does. On target with the pass, losing meters but maintaining possession until they aren't. Stolen by Adria. On the near touchline. All the pressure on House. They got to win. They got to win by 2. This is a long first half. Remember, because it's college summer league for a lot of these players, health and safety of the players comes into play. It's blown dead by the ref. That does it for the first half. We're going to take a break. It's 1-1 draw here at Chicago Fire Pitch.
Hi, my name is Brian Koenig. I am the president of Soccer 2000. We are a soccer specialty store located in Downers Grove. We specialize in servicing club uniforms and a personalized retail experience. Soccer 2000 has an exclusive team center that includes a wide variety of uniform kits to help your club choose the next kits that will make you guys look great on the field. Contact us at 630-241-9500 or find us online at soccer2000.com.
Max Heads custom kick drum heads. Design online, upload, create, rock. If you're in a band, you need a Max Head. Did you know that you can advertise your business on our live streams? You sure can. Contact us about the numerous advertising opportunities we offer to local businesses during our sports live streams. Build brand awareness, engage customers, and support your local sports teams. Contact us for more information.
Good evening, everybody. Kyle Smith alongside my awesome crew. To my left is Eric Ratchey and everybody else that's working this broadcast, Miles Whitworth, and our technical director as well. It's a 1-1 draw, and it's unfortunate if you're a Chicago House AC fan because they got to win by 2 goals today to be champions. They were up 1-0, but great play by Adria as they force Halterman into an uneasy position. He thought he had an open defender, but he actually didn't. It was stolen away by Shikichenko, and he got it into the back of the net, and he actually went near post, the place where Halterman was, after he made the not good pass, and Shikichenko got it into the back of the net, and a 1-1 draw, that's where we stand right now. If you're a House fan, like I said before, you got to win by 2 goals. If you're an Adria fan, win, draw, or lose by 1, and you're the champions of Division 1. That's where we stand right now. A.R. Smith scored for Chicago House AC off a free kick, an unassisted goal for Shikichenko after the bad pass by the goalkeeper and Tony Halterman. That's where we stand right now. 1-1 draw as we enter the second half. We're going to take a break. More soccer action coming up next here on Recruitlings.
Hi, my name is Brian Koenig. I am the president of Soccer 2000. We are a soccer specialty store located in Downers Grove. We specialize in servicing club uniforms and a personalized retail experience. Soccer 2000 has an exclusive team center that includes a wide variety of uniform kits to help your club choose the next kits that will make you guys look great on the field. Contact us at 630-241-9500 or find us online at soccer2000.com.
Max Heads custom kick drum heads. Design online, upload, create, rock. If you're in a band, you need a Max Head. Did you know that you can advertise your business on our live streams? You sure can. Contact us about the numerous advertising opportunities we offer to local businesses during our sports live streams. Build brand awareness, engage customers, and support your local sports teams. Contact us for more information.
Good evening, everybody. Kyle Smith, along with Marlo Ratchey, Eric Ratchey, and Miles Whitworth. Second half about to start. As if you're a House fan, it was an unfortunate pass by Tony Halterman, but they got to pick up their keeper now. They switch sides. Chicago House, they got to score twice, can't give up any goals, or they could somehow score 3 times and give up 1, and they're still the champions of Heartland Conference Division 1. Otherwise, championship goes the way of RWB Adria. They were up 1-0 off a free kick, but an unfortunate decision by Halterman. To this day and to this point of the game, I still don't understand what he was looking at. Now, the type of offense that Adria does, they do force goalkeepers to think that somebody's open when they're not, but nonetheless, it was not the best decision by Halterman, stolen away by Adria, and that's where we stand right now, as if Adria doesn't give up 2 goals, they're the champions of the Midwest Premier League Heartland Conference Division 1. For House, they need their guys to score. The guys to look out for, Mateo Chacon Alzate Smith, who scored earlier, as well as Makala Maglor, who came off the bench in style, and he almost scored even after getting injured. He was on the pitch for a good 3 to 5 minutes. I look at the pass one more time by Halterman, and really there's no defenders close to where Shidkichenko was. They're on the far boundary. It was stolen by Shidkichenko, good left-footed boot, and that was a powerful kick. A lot of velocity on it as he went near post instead of far post. Shidkichenko scores, the master's degree player from Lewis University, and that's where we stand right now. 1-1 draw at Chicago House AC. They got their work cut out for them and then some. At the 50th minute, joining us will be Brian Koenig. He's the Chief Operations Officer of Chicago House. And at the 70th minute, it'll be Adnan Basic. Adria, the home team, this is their home pitch for the day. They will get the ball to start the second half. So that was just really a two-possession swing. Chicago House gave up the goal, as well as now Adria will possess it to start the second half. And in soccer, of course, goals are not plentiful. And so Chicago House has to find a way to win 3-1 or 4-2. Otherwise, the championship goes the way of Adria. And wouldn't that be heartbreaking if House wins this game 2-1 but are still not the champions? Well, they put themselves in this position. They lost 1-0 to Adria earlier in the season, and now they have to find a way to win by 2. But here we go. Ball near the center circle, kicked forward by Adria. House answers with a header, and then over to the far touchline. Off the foot, lead pass, and read well by Adria. They look to steal, and they have it. Now on the far touchline, last touch by House, and a throw-in coming up for Adria. Final reminder that the text line is still open, 330-957-7653. House steals, but they got a long way to go, and they got to score twice. Off the left foot. Tony Halterman, who made that mistake, well, you know what? It's a team game, and see how they answer and how they pick up their goalkeeper. He was not very much tested in that first half. Ball possession went the way of Chicago House as they possessed the ball for the majority of that first half. He's a guy that's very well revered in the Midwest Premier League. We talked about that. We talked about that article that USsoccer.com wrote about him. Does a very nice job between the pipes, makes very few mistakes, but at the same time he can make them, as we saw last season in that 1-0 victory over Bavarian United. He did commit a red card. Now, that was very ill-advertent, stolen away by Adria. A.R. Smith was the closest House forward to the ball. But in that game, if you didn't watch it, it was a 1-0 win for Bavarian United. Halterman got the start, and he came out of the box. It would have been a breakaway for Bavarian United. He hit the leg before getting the ball, so it was a slide tackle attempt by Halterman. He was called for the red card, meaning Chicago House for the rest of the match, end of the first half, going into the second half. They were down a man, and they found a way to win 1-0. Billy Castro came off the bench, preserved the 1-0 clean sheet, and he was man of the match in that one. So Halterman can make mistakes, although that game in Bavarian, I don't really call that a mistake, just a bad break. Chacon's kick, headed and out of bounds. It was off the head of Maglor, and that's just a tough kick and a tough one to head. It goes on the opposite side of his head. He was trying to get it right at the temple, but it went to the side of his head and just hard to get the header that he wanted. Goal kick coming up. And as we get closer to the 50th and the 60th minute, more and more pressure on House. Meanwhile, for Adria, they can take as much time as they'd like. They will be the champions as long as they don't give up 2 goals. They don't even have to win. I mean, they can just be conservative the entire second half, which stinks if you're a House fan, because House was up 1-0, and if not for that mistake by Halterman, and also good defense, making it look like a guy was open when he wasn't, RWB Adria would have to be at least somewhat aggressive in the second half. And I'd love to hear Brian Koenig's take on it as they try to pick up their keeper. At the same time, even if Halterman had made that mistake, he's been the reason they got to this point. And so without Halterman, they wouldn't even be in this position. Everybody makes mistakes. I think of the Chris Webber play, making the analogy to basketball. Thought he had a timeout when he didn't. If you look at a replay from a different camera angle, it looks like one of his teammates was telling him to call a timeout. Weber called the timeout, and then they were called for the technical foul. It was a double technical, 2 shots and the ball for North Carolina. Meanwhile, at the center circle, off the foot of Alzate, over to Smith. And I bring that up because, man, if it can happen in a college basketball championship game with millions of people watching, it sure as heck can happen in the Midwest Premier League. As Brian Koenig will now join our booth. Brian, well, you knew what was on the agenda today. You got to win by 2 goals. Things were starting to go your way. And then what Adria was doing on offense, Halterman thought he had a guy open on the sideline, but he wasn't. Shidkichenko got in the way of the passing lane. They score, and now House has to once again win by 2 goals.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those where Tony makes a mistake. We would put Tony in 10 times out of 10 times.
Right.
You know, he makes that mistake. He's not going to make that mistake again. You know, it's a team game. We pick him up and we come back and play together.
And even if he hadn't made that mistake, you still would have to score another goal. And so this is the kind of pressure where this kind of spot is for you guys. As you got to win by 2 goals. In your soccer career as a coach and a player, have you ever been in this spot where you have to win and you have to win by a certain amount of goals to be the champion?
Absolutely. On the field and on the bench, that's the last thing that you're worrying about. Fans, you know, everybody else, you have that 2-goal in your head, but it's 1 goal at a time. 1 goal at a time. I mean, if you go into it saying we need to win 2-0, you're just gonna it's gonna backfire on you, and it's one of those where let's get 1 goal, get the next goal.
Were you surprised, Shidkichenko, the forward that stole it off Halterman's pass, are you surprised he went near post instead of far post after getting the steal?
No, not at all. The fact that, you know, it was a sitter, and the fact that he buried the ball in the back of the net, that's what he's supposed to do. So whether it's near post, far post, he's supposed to put it in the back of the net.
Well, the fact that you have a chance today is something to talk about. And what are those obstacles that you've had to overcome to be in the spot? You win, and you win by 2. You're the champions today.
Obviously, it's the, you know, our obstacles. We lose a fantastic head coach who is part of our culture through and through. Matt was, you know, part of House more than any of us. You know, he did the sacrifice day in and day out. So we're very grateful for him. It's just like the players. It's next man up. Coach Spence came in. He did a great job. Now we hand it off to Coach Shannon, and you know, we've been amazed with the transition from Matt to Spence to Shannon.
What did you see from the first 50 minutes before Halterman's mistake that you liked and maybe didn't like so much from House?
House was definitely on the attack. You see Adria, you know, parking the bus, so to speak. You know, defensively, they're bringing everybody back. You know, their quick counters are deadly. You know, you gotta watch that. We've been pretty much dominating the entire game. We just need to keep our cool, and that's, you know, Adria's gonna try to test and, you know, prod us and get us off the game. We just need to keep our cool as we go forward.
How has this season differed from previous ones?
Again, you lose your head coach halfway in the season.
Right, yeah.
That's not an easy thing to do, but our guys are resilient. They are veterans. They can coach each other. They can get on each other. So House, this group is a very special group of guys. You know, when you get 35, 36 guys that show up for 4 days of training, that's a special group.
Obviously, it's not an easy spot. Got to win. You got to win by 2 goals. How can that happen, especially if Adria plays the conservative game?
You got to find the net. You got to find the net somehow. I mean, it's a little luck on the side.
Right. Yeah.
Find our 9. Find the headers. You know, our restarts. We got to take our time and place the ball in the right spot. You know, in this game, it's gonna come down to those minor things, but it's, you know, you got to capitalize on those moments. So if you got a header that's 5 feet in front of the goal, finish it.
When do you start to cheat up the midfielders and D-line? The 65th, 70 minutes, since you have to win by 2.
We're already cheating. Remember, we got to win by 2.
Right, so, correct. So the whole half?
We're cheating. Like, it's our guys. You know, the mantra was at the beginning of the game: leave everything on the field. You know, do not walk off this field knowing that you left something on the field. So leave everything on the field. If you look at a bench, we've got a strong bench. So if you're tired, come out.
last question that I had for you. What are you looking forward to in the future of Chicago House and the Midwest Premier League as a whole?
We're looking forward to see where this team ends up. You know, we do expect some change. We don't know how much change. Sometimes change is good. You know, and you know, with us, we're hoping to announce our new head coach by the end of this week. So we know that is a major decision on our entire club, just not the men's first team. It's going to resonate from the men's first team all the way down to our academy program. So, you know, that's our first step. What we're looking forward to after today. But in terms of the future, you know, win, lose, or draw, we've always showcased that we run a professional club, professional organization, and so that's what we can continue to do, and try to improve what we do on a day-to-day basis.
Brian, thanks so much for joining the booth. You got your work cut out for you, but you know what? Crazier things have happened in the history of soccer. All right,
Where's the scoreboard? How many minutes we have?
It's Brian Koenig, as it's still 1-1. There was a free kick from Chicago House. Actually, no, it was from Adria, but it went to the side of the net and no good. Still a 1-1 draw. As a free kick coming up, see who takes it for Adria, as it'll either be Gerardo Sainz or Omar Gil. At this point of the match, knowing what Adria knows, just play the conservative game if you want. Just waste time. Do whatever you want. I mean, at this point, all the pressure is on House. Even if Halterman did make that mistake, still more pressure on House. Off the body. Also, if you're Adria, try to avoid injuries. You know, it's a turf field, so House is going to do whatever they can to steal the ball. Slide tackles will become more commonplace, even though it is a turf field. For Adria, you don't have to slide tackle. You can just waste time. If you have to, you can kick it out of bounds on purpose, because the more you waste time, the more that doubt starts to seed into the minds of the Chicago House midfielders and forwards. Here comes Smith on his right foot, passes it over to a fellow forward. Now in the box, chance for House. Crosser, no one home to retrieve it. Out of bounds, throw-in coming out for Adria. As RWB Adria, you know, we talked about Tony Halterman for House, and then they talked about the run that Chicago House had in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Cup. And according to USSoccer.com, House does not get where they got to without Tony Halterman. Talking about the Open Cup, he made a huge double save deep in stoppage time against Bavarian United. It was a quick twitch, double save. I mean, he's so good at that. Stop and start move by Adria in the box. Kramer to defend, as right now it's played by Rosso. And are they going to say a foul in the box by House? That would be a penalty kick awarded for RWB Adria. A lot happening on that play. Players going after the ball. And look like it's on the hand. Yep, it's off the hand. If Adria scores, that means they're the champions. And even if they don't score, that's more wasted time against House. And you know what? That's why you just don't want to allow forwards to be in the box. You look at it, is it off the hand? Stop and start move by Rosso. It's clearly on the hand. It's clearly on the arm. Even if it's inadvertent, it's a penalty kick, and you can take as much time as you'd like. If you're Antonio Rosso, Halterman, can you make up for the mistake? You could make up for it in a big way if you save this one. It's going to be a left-footed kick. Takes his time, does Razzo. The ball is live once Halterman touches it. Razzo with a beautiful chip kick, and that should do it. RWB Adria is most likely going to win the 2024 Midwest Premier League Division I Championship. Antonio Razzo with a beautiful penalty kick chip goal. And the handball goes against House in a big way. Well, now if you're Tony Halterman, it's really not your fault anymore. Even if he hadn't made that mistake, big mistake made by House in their own end, in their own box, Handball, Adria scores. And if you're House, now you're just playing for pride's sake. Here are the standings in case you're not aware. If you want to know the standings, just go to MidwestPL.com. Adria with 22 points coming into today, 7-1-1. For Bavarian United, 6-2-2. And for Chicago House AC, 6-2-1. Goal differential, RWB Adria just slightly better than House. Plus 13 and a plus 10 for Chicago House Athletic Club. And hand goes up. Ever since the 50th minute, it's been all Adria. Things were starting to go House's way until they weren't. And now for Adria, I mean, you can be overly aggressive if you'd like, because remember, for House to win the championship, they got to score 3 unanswered goals. That's unheard of in hockey, and pretty much impossible in the game of soccer, even in pre-professional soccer. Meanwhile, to kick it is going to be Gerardo Sainz. Yes, Gerardo with the right-footed boot. That crosser, header, loose ball in the box, cleared by Alzate. Back over to RWB Adria. It seems like as the shadows became more prevalent, things went the way of Adria. And a foul committed by Adria. Only chance now for House, it seems like, is if a red card were called on Adria. So Adria, they just have to be playing within themselves, avoid the fouls, and avoid the red cards. And for House, now you just got to play up-tempo the rest of the match. Playing for pride's sake. I mean, you'd love to get second place. If House ties, they would have 20 points along with Bavarian United. Everybody has played 10 matches except for House and RWB Adria. There will be 2 teams in Division 1 next season. And Steel City falls to Division 2. AFC Roscoe will join the boys in Division 1, as will Green Bay Glory. Rockford FC was 2 points shy. They had a good season, 7-4-1. That was quite a turnaround over the Rockford FC team we saw last year that just got dominated in a lot of matches. Other teams that performed this season in Division 1. DeKalb County United, they didn't have a good year, but they did get that big win over Chicago House as they try to get good things going for their program moving forward. Tough year for Charney Jaswo. They were without Agbaku, who was that big player. If you remember Charney Jaswo against Steel City, Agbaku was that big guy, goal and assist against Steel City. Lead pass, but it was read well by House's Pau Mateo Chacon. And it's kicked out of bounds. This is a beautiful facility, by the way. The chairs they have, they're very comfortable chairs, as Eric's showing you on camera. It's a pitch, it's a small one. It's obviously a practice pitch, but it almost feels like a stadium. It's like a minor stadium practice pitch, if that makes sense. And it's very fun for the fans. They've got beer, they've got concessions. It's a very fun venue. It's not too far away from Carywood Field, DePaul College Prep, WGN Studios. Meanwhile, Adria taking their time. Smith, he's been frustrated most of the day. And because things have gone the way of Adria, they can now go to the bench, as taking a seat will be Alejandro Leyva Espinoza. He's played decent minutes for them. Their best player, arguably, has been Antonio Razzo, and a big honorable mention to Zakhar Shedkichenko. Off the steal, Halterman's bad pass, and Adria has taken the house since then. Stolen away by Adria in the box, left-footed boot, and at last was touched by House. Corner kick coming up. No need to push the pace if you're Adria. Going after the corner kick will be Gerardo Sainz, as Gerardo was the captain in that Steel City match. See what he does on the corner here. Do not have to score if you're Adria. But you know what? You can run plays you don't normally run, as I think that was last touched by House. Going after it was Adria. Ball went out of play. Foul called on Adria. Goal kick coming up. And because it's the last match of the season, see if head coach Shannon Seymour decides to give his backup goalkeeper some minutes today. As for Adria, see if they go to the backup goalkeeper in Santiago Pantino. Clean sheet no longer in play. It might be a handball against Adria. It indeed is a handball. You know, you talk about how handballs are so rare in soccer, but that's the third handball of the match, if you can believe it. 2 called on Adria. Only one that was called by House. It was the worst place to commit a handball, in the box. Penalty kick awarded for Razzo. He kicked it into the back of the net. At this level, usually you see the line drive kick where you arch back and fire, but with Razzo, he just chipped it into the back of the net. Goal awarded. That's where we stand right now. Razzo scored, Shikichenko scored, A.R. Smith scored. It was 1-0 House, and then it wasn't. 2 unanswered goals from Adria. 2-1 lead for the men in white and blue. And you know what? It's easy to say in hindsight, but wouldn't that be heartbreaking if House had lost, the championship? They win 1-0, but they still kind of lose because they didn't win the championship. How about that little minor bicycle kick? The field goal was good, but the kick was not, and it goes right on the roof. Hopefully they have a backup ball. What a big thank you to House for letting us be here. Chicago Fire as well. Eric Ratchie does a great job for us. You see this wonderful camera action. That's not easy to do, by the way. He does a fabulous job for us. House, this is their last match of the season, and it looked like they were going to be the champions early on. Nice goal by Smith, but it just didn't go their way after the 50th minute. We're now at 65-36. In a couple of minutes, Adnan Basic, our last special guest, will join the booth. Lead kick, read well by Adria, kicked out of bounds, corner kick coming up. See who wants to kick it. Alzate will take it. And even though the championship is far from happening for Chicago House today, they are not going to the subs. They're going to stick with the guys that got them here and let them finish the season. At least that looks to be the case for head coach Shannon Seymour. Headed away by Adria. Another header by House, but it's stolen by Adria. Still in play. That's not. Foul called on Adria. It's going to be called on Dizdarevich off the bench. You know, we talked about how tough it was going to be, this Dizdarevich-Shidkichenko pairing, and it's been tough for House. Shidkichenko, the goal. Substitutions getting ready for House. And they will allow one. I believe that's Mentasti. Nope. They're going to go with number 5, Gio Spazov. He'll enter the match. And the other guy might be Maglor. We'll wait on a number in a second. Meanwhile, Alzate will likely kick, but rearing back to fire is also Cesar Murillo. And Murillo looked a little hurt, but here we go. Murillo will instead play it forward. Crosser. Read well by Adria. They're just a better team since that 50th minute. Whatever it was, when Shidkichenko scored, it gave them a boost of energy, and they played a better brand of soccer since then. In the box, over to the sideline, read well by Adria, off the head, now off the body of Adria. Kick to the touchline. Shidkichenko, left-footed boot, right on target, feeding it to Munoz. Crosser, header, save, and a beauty by Halterman, and then kicked out by House. in the center circle. Now past the midway line. Switching from left to right. Lead pass and a beauty. Loose ball up in the air. Great job by Barajas. House wants to call. The hand is up, but I do not think they're going to call a foul on the keeper. A lot happening on that play. You look at it one more time. This is a big call. It was a beautiful lead pass. He was indeed onside. Keeper was looking to block the shot. I mean, it's so hard to see in real speed. I think you're going to have to do playback speed of 0.75. So they're going to go with what originally happened, which was just a goal kick. As it was set up well by Avalos. It was a lead pass over to Amatos, who comes off the bench. Amatos was after it. Barajas getting in the way of the shot. As just falling on top of Barajas. Definitely no penalty kick, no red card. And because House is down 2-1, even if they had scored, it would really just be for pride's sake off the penalty kick. Amatos into the game, almost scored, but a nice play by Barajas. You know, in hockey, they do the 3 stars of the game, and at Sports Broadcast Solutions and Recruitlings, we like to do the same. Here are my 3 stars. Feel free to go on the live chat if you disagree, as that kick past the arms of Alterman goes out of bounds. But here are my 3 stars. 3rd star, A.R. Smith. Beautiful goal, and it looked like Chicago House had a chance to be champions today. Did a great job off the kick. As play is stopped by the refs, this will probably be a mandated water break due to how hot it is today. As we are now in the 70th minute, Anand Basic should join the booth momentarily. Water break coming up. 3rd star, like I mentioned, Chicago House, A.R. Smith. 2nd star, what a beautiful goal that was off the penalty kick from Antonio Razzo. But the guy who changed the entire complexion of this game, Zaha Shidkichenko. Look, it's not easy. When you're frustrated, you haven't scored, you're being shut out, the goalkeeper has the ball, but to keep your eyes on the pitch, on the keeper, did a good job staying in a position where Halterman thought he had an open man, but he really didn't. He was really in no man's land. Halterman made the kick when he shouldn't have. Shidkichenko with the steal and went near post with it with a wicked hard, or as they say in Boston, wicked hard shot past the keeper in Halterman. And a 1-1 draw at the time. Now a 2-1 lead right now for RWB Adria. Those are my 3 stars. Feel free to go on the live chat if you disagree with me. But we're going with Smith number 3, Razzo number 2, and number 1, Shidkichenko. Nice view of all our fans today on the both RWB Adria and the Chicago House side. They don't really have bleachers where the players are, so the fans can really only be on one side of the pitch. This is a beautiful pitch, by the way. I hope that we can broadcast more soccer matches from here. And, you know, it was interesting. In previous broadcasts, we interviewed a guy who grew up in Britain. And to him, it's a football match and it's a pitch. But in America, you're allowed to call it a soccer game. It's not a match. It's a game, and in Britain, it's a football match, not a game. All right, well, that's going to be Adnan Basic, who joins our booth. And Adnan, well, it was 1-0 House, and then it wasn't. Zaha Shidkichenko with a nice steal to tie it up 1-1, and then the beautiful PK chip goal to make it 2-1, and now House is just playing for pride's sake.
Yeah, the House are going to need 3 goals, I believe, if they want to get a chance at the conference title. So I don't think we're getting that, especially in whatever minute we're at.
Yeah.
They have a scoreboard, but you guys
it's 2-1, so here it is right now in the 73rd minute, 2-1. It was 1-0, though, so there was an outside chance that it could happen.
Especially with the one header immediately following Adria's goal. Oh, we're about to get another one here. No,
so it is pronounced Adria, not Adria?
Adria.
Adria?
So I'm Balkan. I know they're a Croatian-based team. My dad calls them Adria, if you want to get really ethnic. So either way, you'll be okay.
Okay.
But I was just talking to Ante a little bit in Croatian, Bosnian, whatever hybrid we can speak to each other with. So we've got that connection at least, which is nice. But yeah, no, they've been a good team. I've not watched too many of their games, I'm not going to lie to you, but they've been good today. A little bit of the dark arts, as you can see, the referee's letting them get away with it, so if you can get away with it, you might as well get away with it. But they've done well, and all they have to do is not lose by 2, and they're up by 1, so they're doing a great job so far.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a position like that? Now, this is not exactly real soccer. It's rare when a team has to win by 2 goals. Although in group play for soccer tournaments, you have to win by 2 goals sometimes. Some of those rare tiebreaker scenarios. Anyways, Halterman, the goalkeeper, is in a position where he needs to not make any mistakes, and he knows that his offense has to score another goal, even though they're winning by a goal, to win the championship. Is that hard to be a goalkeeper in that spot? I'm not exactly allowing the mistake to happen from him, but you can almost understand it's a weird mindset to have as a keeper. We're up by 1, but we're actually down by 1.
Yeah, just imagine like you're in a 2-legged Champions League affair, I assume, where the house wins this game knowing they're effectively already down 2-0. And he's going to want that one back for sure. It's not the most egregious error I've ever seen in my life, but when you're playing around the back, especially at that point in the game, the house are up, they have their momentum, they've got the lead. With so much time left to go, you don't really need to force it too much. He makes a mistake. And fair play to who's the goal scorer? I didn't have a.
It was Shidkichenko.
It's a good finish, good celebration as well for those singing at home. Calm down the crowd, and it's a raucous crowd over there, which is nice. They're a little mad at the referee, but that's how it is. But it's a beautiful day here. It's not a bad setup. Right, you guys got going on here.
Yeah.
Hello, by the way. Please clip this for me.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, so you can window capture as many times as you'd like. Look, even if Halterman didn't make that mistake, and look, Shidkichenko played it perfectly. He made it seem like a guy on the far touchline was open until he wasn't, but at the same time, you don't force that to the far side of the pitch when you're a keeper. Especially like if you don't think you can get to that player on the far touchline, just kick it out of bounds. Not that you want to kick it out of bounds. Still better than what happened for Halterman. For Adria's side, they've scored 2 goals. They got some luck their way off the handball that became a penalty kick. But what have you seen from them from the 50th minute onwards to where we currently stand?
They're really good technically. That's the biggest thing. They almost kind of play like an indoor team of sorts, where they're always good with their first touch, always good at creating space, finding the man, playing a little give and go, and then working from there. Really good technically on and off the ball, and that just helps them in possession, helps them drive forward, and helps them defensively. They know how to handle situations. I think they're a good view of the ball. I assume just a clear handball.
Yeah, it was clear handball. Yeah, it's on the bar.
You can tell the technical ability with the man pulling up with a Panenka at this stage of the game. Lovely little dink over the goalkeeper. And they've got the speed to match with it as well.
For House, obviously, this is not the result they wanted. What can they take from this match? Things were going their way until they weren't.
Yeah, no, I was lucky enough to go to the house practice the other day. I was talking to Peter, talking to Captain Aaron Smith, and obviously they'd like to win titles, but their focus is always going to be player development. And they've done a good job this year of kind of keeping the same core team and not losing many players. They obviously did lose their head coach, Matt Poland, at some point.
Right, yeah,
off
correct.
at the pro level, which is good for him, of course, and good for the club. But it's a little bit hard to adjust at that point. I think there might be a bit of a correlation between the results kind of dropping off since Poland left. I believe they'd won every game until then. It's obviously tricky at that point in time, but they're always looking to the future. They're never going to be too worried about one particular year, one particular season. Besides on like the Open Cup, the Amateur Cup, that sort of thing. And it would have been nice for them to have this because it would have been their first men's senior level trophy. But they know that they're always going to be kind of hanging around at this point in the Midwest Premier League, like the Bavarians, like Adria, and then teams of that sort.
Let's give credit where credit is due. Alejandro Barajas, he hasn't had to do a lot. But House, the first 10 minutes, they were pressing on offense. Barajas, the keeper, did not give up a goal until the 34th minute. It's a 2-1 lead right now for Adria, so let's give credit for Barajas where credit is due. What has he done between the pipes for Adria today?
Just not making any mistakes. I mean, unfortunately, you saw with Tony, if a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it's more than likely going to end up being a goal. So he stayed solid in there. He's had help from his defense. I don't think he's been really challenged too much. There was the one header that I believe even went like off target, so I don't know how many saves he made. He came out well to close down. I believe it was Bouquet on one given goal, or one through ball, even though he was offside. So just staying solid, being smart in possession, playing short when you have the opportunity, when you have space to. If you don't, get up top to the big man, get it out wide, get it in behind. And he's been really impressive with like his pings to the left wing.
You've worked as a soccer journalist for many years. What have you seen in terms of the progression of the Midwest Premier League, and how does it differ and be similar to other pre-professional soccer leagues?
Yeah, so I've not got too much experience in the lower league world, unfortunately. I've kind of really got into things this year with the Midwest Premier League in general. But a lot of people would be surprised with the quality on show in the Midwest Premier League, especially like what I've seen from practice. seeing these guys, what they can do on the ball every single day. They are uniquely talented, and like I play at the fire pitch here. I was playing here the other day, and they are so far above the best player you'd see at a fire pitch, which is remarkable because they play it so often. They've got D1, D2 experience. Some of them have been pros before. AR Smith was part of the house when they were a pro team. And even Adria, you can see they're deserved winners of the title, but each one of their players is good, solid on the ball. There's no like weak points in the team, and the quality I think is the biggest thing. But people will see amateur soccer, they'll see this lower level, and I think it's just a bunch of janitors, a bunch of like part-time players. And obviously, fair play to them. They all have jobs, they all work hard, and they come in and do this. But they're all really good on the ball, off the ball. They're a good team, technically set up. It's really impressive to watch, like at this level, how good these teams are. And then I watched them play the Milwaukee Torrents of the MPSL, another semi-pro or lower league pro team, and Torrents another step above them. And then I watched the Torrent get smacked by New York, Pan Cyprian Freedom in the Amateur Cup final.
Right.
Who are just another step above them. There's so many levels to the quality of soccer. You can pick any game and have a great time watching it.
Yeah, and I believe the last U.S. Open Cup, an MLS team lost to a USL 1 team.
Yes, someone made the semi, I remember.
Yeah, and then in the fall, in the Open Cup, House made that run and they lost to Chicago Fire in the Open Cup. So
it beat USL Ford Madison, who are a team
right,
pro. So
yeah.
It's great to have this level of competition.
Well, Adnan, thanks for joining the broadcast. It looked like we were going to get a fight to the finish when House was up 1-0, but then after the mistake by Halterman, and then, of course, the handball in the 18-yard box, it didn't come to fruition for House today.
Yeah, it's honestly worked out well for me. At least I don't have to worry about my article right now. I'm talking so I'll go grab Adria after the game. We'll get some quotes, probably talk to the house as well, and I'll have a good time.
All right.
I appreciate you guys doing this as well. It's an excellent session.
Yeah, no, Adnan, thanks for joining us. It's a 2-1 lead right now for RWB Adria, as we'll get rid of the picture on your screen. But yeah, 2-1 lead for RWB Adria, and it just did not go the way that House thought it would. They got the goal that they wanted. It came at an interesting time. It was off a free kick. Adria had been so good at clearing it. That time they weren't. Smith, Johnny on the spot, kicks it past the keeper, 1-0 lead. And then after that, the wheels fell off. Halterman makes the mistake. Shitkichenko, let's give him credit. He read the pass, stole it, went near post. Not easy to do. Most forwards that I've seen in the history of soccer usually go far post. He decides to go near, gets it past the keeper at Halterman, and then, the handball. But you know what? It was a really good point that Adnan gave us on the broadcast. The pass, the crosser, was delivered in a way that it was hard to not commit a handball. And what I mean by that is the ball was so low that when a defender would get in the way of the passing lane, he would inadvertently hit it with his hand. And so it was a nice delivery crosser. Usually crossers, are high in the air, top spin, allow your forward to get on top of the ball for a header. But that crosser, it was low to the ground almost, and it forced House to defend. They tried to do a rebuttal, and they countered, and it went off the hand. Chip kick, goal. No matter what, House had to score twice anyways to win 3-1 to be champions. At this point, now they're looking to tie Bavarian for first place in the Midwest Premier League. We are now in the 82nd minute, nearing the 83rd, and see what final substitutions we get for both teams. Don't go anywhere. The post-game show brought to you by Recruitlings. Coming up next, it'll either be A.R. Smith, Zaha Shitkichenko, or Antonio Razzo. But regardless, we will have a post-game interview brought to you by Recruitlings. Just a tough one to swallow if you're a House fan. They came close. It was 1-0. They needed one more goal. Substitution now for House. Coming back into the pitch will be Tommy Oros. As we've seen pretty much everybody except for Kamdar, Aya Moreno, Friend, Waddington, and Grady, as well as Zeddy Adlam enter the pitch for House, but we will probably see them. Substitutes, notably for Adria, will be Alejandro Sanchez, Victor Manin, Kevin Herrera, Gabriela Fuentes, Eric Duran, Brian Terrazas, and Santiago Patino would be the substitutions for RWB Adria. And it's going to be a red card on Chicago House. Man, it's going from bad to worse for Chicago House. They're down by 1. Remember, they have to win by 2 to be champions. As you go to the replay of what happened, it was at midfield. I don't think that's a red card, if that's what they're calling. It's yellow-esque. It's near the sideline. It's unnecessary on Oros. As Oros was going after the ball, the nearest Adria player was Jasko Dizdarevic. And remember, if it's a red card, that means the rest of the match, Chicago House has to play down a man. I understand, because it's such a small pitch, when you go after a player like that, but he's really not going after the player, he's going for the ball, kind of. I think the issue is it's such a small pitch, there's not a lot of real estate around the sideline. Why you would call the red card there, but still, I don't get it. Maybe it's a warning to don't do that anymore. I disagree with that from the ref. He's reffed a very good game, as has his assistants. But a red card there, unless they're calling it on the players talking back to the ref, which it has happened for players on both teams. I don't really get why you would call a red card on Oros there. Unless they called it on Seymour, which very rarely would they call it on a coach. Red card issued. So you see the red card as that crosser header. Halterman after it. He'll get his hands on it. Well, we talked about House playing for pride's sake. And see if House wants to be all-out aggressive to try to get the draw. Obviously, if you want to play gamesmanship, you would not want to give up any more goals for the goal differential tiebreaker, but you don't have to worry about the tiebreaker because there is no tomorrow. Yeah, I disagree calling a red card there on Oros if that in fact is the call. Anyways, red card on House as we enter the 87th minute. Haven't had a lot of stoppages. The only stoppage really was if we're going to issue a red card or not. And so we'll probably play 92, 94 minutes today. Throw in and head it away as it was in the box. They call a foul. Who pushed off? And it was a battle of 15s, but they called a foul on Mateo Chacon as he pushed his opponent in Heriberto Munoz. And we appreciate everybody watching. If you're at Lollapalooza, hope you're having fun. The traffic getting here to Lollapalooza was not so fun. And you could sense the frustration from House players. They knew what they had to do today. But you know what? The ref has been very consistent outside of that red card. That should be a foul. That might be a red card, by the way, on Adria. As it was a very unnecessary play. You watch it one more time. Free kick. It looked like he was using his spike around the foot. Yeah, that should be a red card. There's no intent to get the ball. He put his foot at the spike of a House player. And if you're going to call the red card on Oros for playing the ball and attacking, so finger went up, then the yellow. Call a yellow on Adria, but you call the red on House. I still don't understand. It looked like that was more blatant than what Oros did in the 82nd minute. Because like red card is usually intent to injure, unnecessary play, dangerous play, possibly trying to injure an opponent. I just can't think that it's on Oros. The hand went up as the opponent in Dizdarevich did not like what Oros did. And that's a short day for Oros. He did not start, did not play all of the first half, and did not play to start the second half. It's going from a football game to a football game, going from a soccer game to an American football game with how many fouls and cards have been issued. Tackles, pushes, shoves. I know you don't want it to be 10 on 10, but you know what? I think it should be, because that was such an unnecessary play. And when you put your spike at another player's spike, it looks like intent to injure. I mean, that's kind of the definition of the rule, of what you're looking for as a ref. So why aren't you calling a red card there? I don't understand. Unless you don't want to call red cards, but then you already issued one. Interesting to say the least. Officiating's been good, but the last 5 to 10 minutes, a little bit iffy. Meanwhile, House is going to have to rise above it, and they got to find a way to score down a man. If they tie, they would tie with Bavarian United with 20 points. Crosser, read well by Adria. Adria is the champions unless something absolutely phenomenal happens, something out of a movie, for House to score 3 times down a man in the last 10 minutes. So much harder to score in soccer than hockey. Hockey obviously a smaller arena. So hard to get the ball past the keeper. I mean, that's why they call it the beautiful game. When you score in soccer, it's very rare to be a garbage goal. You talk about hockey, you shoot at the pad and then the rebound goes on the stick of a winger and then he shoots it in. Not so much in soccer. Very rare do you have those quote-unquote garbage goals where it goes off a shin of the keeper and then redirects to the center of the box and then the forward kicks it back in. You don't get those garbage goals in soccer so much. Throw-in awarded for Adria off the body, as it was off the body that time of Victor Manin. And over near midfield, little tap kick, trying to keep it in, and does. High arching ball near the box, trying to steal his House, and they're going to call a foul on House. And if you're the ref, at this point, you got to worry about the safety of the players. I know you want the players to finish the match, but if all it's going to become is pushes and shoves and unnecessary plays, you got to tell the players, that's it. Another one, I'm calling the match, and it's going to be called early, and Adria is going to win. This is getting kind of ridiculous with the pushes and shoves, and I understand that House is frustrated. Adria should have been called for a red card, in my opinion. Ref has a better angle than me, but from what I saw, it was very unnecessary. But for House, the pushes and shoves, you just got to rise above it. And meanwhile, when you're in a game like this where there is no tomorrow, sometimes, with suspensions not being worried about as much from the players, this is where chippiness comes into play and where the refs have to control the game and tell the players enough is enough. You look at what happened one more time. It was on the sideline, then high arching ball. I think he just fell down, to be honest. Both players going after it. Looked like he got a little bit of the jersey, but kind of inadvertently. I mean, that's a lot less blatant than the yellow card that they called earlier in the 85th minute on RWB Adria. That looked like a red card to me. Meanwhile, it's going to be a goal kick. Adria will be the champions of the MWPL. Good job avoiding the handball. That's hard to do when the ball is near the sideline like that. We saw House be called for a handball. Look at this ball as Halterman had to go back to the end line and tap it over the net. Hot day today. As you can see, one of the house players in Montellano got a drink of water. Halterman, nice job getting the piece of that one. It's a nice corner kick, and Halterman able to read it all the way and make sure the redirection didn't go in the back of the net. Went from bad to worse. It started off good, then it went great for House, then it went bad, then it went really bad, and then it went awful. It was 0-0. They almost scored a couple of times, and they score off a free kick, but like I've said many times, I don't want to reiterate it. You know what they needed to do. Ball loose in the box, straight up in the air. And then Halterman with the mistake, and you could just see the frustration and the sigh of disbelief from all the House players after what Halterman did, what Shidkichenko did to answer the mistake in the box. Chance for House, right-footed boot, and blocked. I mean, Adria has just been a little bit better than House since the 50th minute. The handball that happened in the box, I mean, that one hurt. At the same time, the play of the game, it was the Shidkichenko steal. I mean, that really was it because of what was on the line for House. You could see the level of intensity went down for House after Halterman made the mistake. That's just asking so much of your keeper, though, to be perfect. And then the offense has to do what they had to do. Big credit to Adria. They practically had a perfect season. They're going to finish the year either 7-1-2 or 8-1-1. I'd be shocked if they gave up 2 goals up a man. But you look at their schedule, where they stand. They won their first 2, then they lost to Bavarian in a very interesting 5-3 final score. Kind of a shocker to have 8 total goals in a soccer game. Then they beat Steel City 1-0. I mean, Steel City played them tough this year. Okay, tied 2-2 to DeKalb County United. 1-0 win against Chicago House, and that was off that crosser we were talking about. 2-1 win over Steel City, 3-0 win over Bavarian United, and then they absolutely dominated Charney Jaswo 5-0 at Loyola Academy Theodore G. Munns SJ campus. Say that a million times in a row. This game at Fire Pitch. And so you look at it, very rarely has their defense been bad. That 5-3 loss to Bavarian obviously was very bad, but the defense has been good for Adria. Chance for Adria, shot and a save. Right in the box by Halterman. And what could have been a 2-goal loss for House is not one. That was just a beautiful kick to himself, and almost scoring the goal that time was number 19 off the bench, Victor Mannon. I mean, that was all him. It was a free kick awarded for Adria. Kicked 1-2 to himself, and then kicked straight on net to Halterman. The idea was there, but he kicked it right at the keeper. Adria, they're going to be the champions, and now we'll decide if they're champions by a victory, a tie, or losing by 1 goal. We are now at the 98th minute. I'm surprised they haven't called it by now. As the ref signals, we're losing time, and we only have 1 minute left. And if you're Adria, you can probably set up a corner kick. You haven't practiced as much as you're going to be the champions, regardless of what happens next. But the ref changes his mind. It's not a corner kick. It's going to be a throw-in. Not enough space to do the flip throw-in. Look at that bicycle. That was beautiful. Halterman with the save. And if House can't get it past midfield, that should do it for the match. They will have time for 1 more throw-in. Yeah, it's a good throw-in that time. And that'll do it for the match. A big congratulations to the Did he call? I thought he signaled 3 times. Never mind. I called too early. I thought I heard 3 whistles. I'm surprised he hasn't called it yet. We're at the 99th minute. Why are we still playing soccer? Especially with House down a man, and even if they scored, they still got to win by 2 goals to be champions. I wonder if the coaches told the ref that. I don't know if they did. Sometimes in semi-pro, in a special occasion like that, the refs don't know. Meanwhile, Adria will probably just play a little monkey middle and keep the ball away. Over to the touchline. Taking his time with it is number 10 and Alejandro Sanchez. Sanchez delivers a kick over to his teammate in Fuentes, as emptying the bench is Adria. Led by Herbert Alvarez. His team was up to the task. They did not play their greatest soccer in the first 37 minutes, but after the mistake by Halterman, they were up to the task. Shot blocked. And we are going to get to triple digits in terms of minutes on the second half clock. Surprised he wasn't offside. We play on. And a whistle, but that's only one. Substitution for House. I'm very surprised that we're still playing. I don't think the officials know what's on the line. That even if House ties it up, it doesn't matter. But I guess it's a championship match. You want the players to play as many minutes as possible. Left-footed boot. That one goes right into the breadbasket. And we're at 99-35. Kicked. How about that for a boot? That was a beauty. And back over to Halterman. Gets out of his box. Halterman straight up in the air. Header. Nice pass. Read well by Adria, though, as it was cleared by Gill. Off the body of Kramer. Headed forward. Coming out of his box is Halterman. The keeper, who gave up 2 goals today, one of them on a penalty kick. And I believe that is Pantino, as Barajas, I believe Barajas hasn't played since the 81st minute. Kicked it over to Spazov. Sends it. Had it straight up in the air. Smith was after it, but he couldn't get it. Out in the box. Trying to get the shot on net. Loose ball. That shot blocked. And that will officially do it. So they called it 150. I thought they were going to call it at 97, but we play 3 more minutes. And it's a 2-1 win for the home team in RWB Adria Chicago. Big congratulations to RWB Adria Chicago. We're going to take a break. Post-game show coming up next. Chicago House falls 2-1, and they will finish in 3rd place of the Midwest Premier League Division I Heartland Conference. And winning the Heartland Conference Division I is RWB Adria, thanks to their 2-1 victory today. We're going to take a break. More soccer action coming up next here on Recruitlings.
Hi, my name is Brian Koenig. I am the president of Soccer 2000. We are a soccer specialty store located in Downers Grove. We specialize in servicing club uniforms and a personalized retail experience. Soccer 2000 has an exclusive team center that includes a wide variety of uniform kits to help your club choose the next kit that will make you guys look great on the field. Contact us at 630-241-9500 or find us online at soccer2000.com.
Max Heads custom kick drum heads. Design online, upload, create, rock. If you're in a band, you need a Max Head. Did you know that you can advertise your business on our live streams? You sure can. Contact us about the numerous advertising opportunities we offer to local businesses during our sports live streams. Build brand awareness, engage customers, and support your local sports teams. Contact us for more information.
Welcome to the post-game show, brought to you by Recruitlings. I'm Kyle Smith, along with the Recruitlings player of the game, Antonio Cortez Razo, a 2-1 victory for RWB Adria over Chicago House AC. They are the champions in 2024. Antonio, you were down 1-0, but things were going pretty well because you had to lose by 2 goals to lose the championship today. Then the steal by Shevchenko to tie it up before halftime, and then the goal by you off the PK. You guys win 2-1, and you're the champions this season.
Que perdiendo 1-0, güey. ¿Qué hicimos nosotros para volver a superar eso? Zaha metió el 1-1, güey. ¿Y cómo te sentiste después de meter el 2-1, güey? ¿Qué sentimos, güey?
Creo que lo que nos mantuvo bien fue la actitud del equipo, que siempre estuvimos tranquilos a pesar de que íbamos adverso en el marcador y confiamos en nuestro trabajo que hacemos cada semana. Cuando mi compañero Zaha mete el primer gol es recuperar lo que habíamos perdido, ganar terreno y volver a confiar en nosotros. Y cuando meto el 2-1 creo que ya fue un golpe de autoridad, de confianza total en el equipo y gracias a Dios se dio el resultado.
He said when we were down 1-0, what we had to do was gain back what we have been doing all season, is just have the ball possessed. And when his teammate Zaha scores the 1-1, I think that it gave us the confidence back to push up. And when I scored the PK, I feel like that gave us 100% confidence to win this game.
Beautiful penalty kick goal by you. Tony Halterman went one way, the ball went the other. You scored to win 2-1, and you guys are champions this season.
En el penal, tú la picas, el portero se avienta a la derecha. ¿Qué viste, güey? Y vamos 2-1 arriba. ¿Qué sientes?
Desde la semana en los entrenamientos lo estuve practicando con mis compañeros y creí que era el día indicado para hacerlo. No pensé en el marcador, no pensé en que era una final, solo lo intenté y salió. Entonces, cuando lo anoto, creo que pues es un momento único que se vive y se disfruta y estoy feliz de ser campeón hoy con mi equipo.
So you knew coming into this match, even if you lost by a goal, you'd still be the champions. But you do it the old-fashioned way. You're down by a goal, then Shevchenko scores, you score, you do it the old-fashioned way. You're champions today with a 2-1 victory.
Que sabíamos que aunque perdíamos 1-0 en el partido, que nosotros fuimos a ser campeones, pero nosotros lo hacemos como normalmente hacemos, que es que ganar el juego. ¿Cómo te sientes después de eso?
Sí, creo que pues siempre, como les dije ya, nos mantuvimos tranquilos y siempre hemos estado acostumbrados a remar contracorriente en un juego que vamos perdiendo o que no se están dando las cosas, pero confiar en el trabajo que sabemos hacer y ya hoy se vio.
Final thoughts about the win today. You're the champions and you do it at the Chicago Fire pitch, a beautiful facility.
Tus últimos pensamientos de ser campeón 2024 con el Adria.
No, pues dedicarle a mi familia que está en México, a mi novia, que siempre han estado ahí apoyándome. Es por ellos, son mi motivación día a día y agradecer a todos mis compañeros, cuerpo técnico que siempre han estado ahí.
I dedicate this win and championship to my family, to my girlfriend that have always been there for me ever since day one. I've been through hard times, but I want to thank my teammates and the staff for this win today.
That's Antonio Cortez Razo, and that does it for our broadcast. A big thank you to everybody that came out today. For Eric Ratchey, Miles Whitworth, Marlo Ratchey, I'm Kyle Smith, and we'll see you next time on Recruitlings.